Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Great Shake-Up for 2015. It is the third time we're having such an event, and on behalf of everyone at the Snowdome Foundation, thank you for your company and thank you for supporting the Shake-Up. In the last couple of years, we've raised an extraordinary number, a couple of $1 million, and this afternoon the expectations are it'll be enormous, and we'll speak to a couple of professors about what the money means. But it's an informal afternoon, it's a wonderful hour, we'll try and entertain. We've got some great acts. Brian Nankervis will join us from Rock Quiz, and he'll have an informal rock quiz over at the Mike Sheehan Media Centre, and Luke Ryan, who's been a cancer sufferer, will perform for us as well. But on behalf of the Snowdome executive, congratulations to all of you for being a part of it, and well done to the executive who have done so much over the last few years. We're trying to raise $1 million, but we can't do it without all of the boardrooms around Australia. We understand there's almost 100. There's been a couple of late entries. So thank you to all of the boardrooms and all of corporate Australia for getting on board, and we hope you have an enjoyable hour or so. Throughout the afternoon, we're going to try and get things trending, and quite simply, this is how you can get involved in the conversation today. There's a number of ways, but we'll have our social media host, Nikki Long, hashtag Nikki Long, but she'll come in and just talk to us about what we're trying to achieve and also the conversations that are going on around Australia. So Insta, Facebook and Twitter, get involved. Also, a big thanks to those companies that have been involved for the last 3 years. As I said, this is our third year, and some companies have been involved in every year so far, as we've raised a couple of $1 million. And today, if we can get to $3 million, it will be extraordinary from a virtual event, the first of its kind in Australia. So today there are a number of ways you can get involved. The auction is one of them. There's 14 main auction items that you can get involved in. Hopefully you've had a look at the website and are familiar with them. If you're not, here's a look at the 14.
Auction items include everyone's favourite Elton John. Enjoy dinner at George Columbaris's Ghazi before heading off to your front row seats to see Elton John live at Rod Laver Arena. You'll also get a photo pic with the star himself. Premier movie events, see all the latest films first. This package includes 2 tickets to all major roadshow film events in Melbourne or Sydney over the next 12 months. Bid for 3 AFL greats to be at your school. Have St Kilda's Nick Riewoldt, Essendon's Brendan Goddard and Richmond's Jack Riewoldt hold a 1-hour football clinic at your kid's school. Priceless. Carlton fans, enjoy the President's Luncheon, VIP access to the rooms, watch the players run onto the field from the race, premium seating and a signed Guernsey. Bid to attend the opening night at Hawker Hall Restaurant. You and 7 friends will enjoy dinner and drinks at this exclusive, invitation-only pre-opening and have the opportunity to meet Executive Chef Ben Cooper, valued at over $1,500. Maybe you prefer life in the fast lane. Bid on the Australian Formula One package, 2 3-day tickets, a premium, full dining, reserved seats experience. And don't miss the dining package at 2 of Melbourne's best restaurants, Moon Underwater and Mamacita. And if wine is your thing, check out the stunning hamper from European crystal specialists Plum Glassware.
So there's plenty of ways to get involved this afternoon. The best thing to do is just bid and worry about paying for it later. But bid on the credit card, get the frequent flyer points and off you go to wherever you want, as well as getting a great auction item. So auctions.snowdome.org.au. Just a big thanks to the platinum sponsors, in particular to Brendan Boyd from Silk Contract Logistics. Want to give a big shout out to him, and also to the gold boardrooms around Australia, Cisco and Caprice, and those names on your screen. They've been wonderful supporters for a very, very long time. Our event partner is Village Roadshow. They've got 5 full boardrooms around Australia, which is extraordinary. And a huge thanks to the Kirby family for their ongoing support of the Great Shake-Up. Also, for those that were the first 10 to enter, there are 6 bottles of Rosa Book, the winery in the Margaret River. A big thanks to those who were early entrants. Without your support, the momentum wouldn't have been there. So thank you very much for being involved again. 2 ways to be involved today. There is the virtual wheel. We know how the wheel works historically, but given that we are a virtual lunch, there's going to be a virtual wheel. And there were 40 companies who entered and gave us their logo. As a result, they go into the heats. 4 from each of the heats, 20 companies in each heat will go through to the final. And to the final, there is an opportunity to win a Village Roadshow pack. That is A gold class experience for 18 people worth $1,150. There's also a chance this afternoon to be involved in the business card draw, because we're virtual, it's an e-draw. You can still get involved in that. You go to info@snowdome.org.au or get on Facebook and register. Just follow the prompts, but it is all pretty easy to do. The first of our three stories today is the story of Linda Milan and her son Blair. She lost Blair to leukaemia. It's one of three stories we'll hear today. Here's their story.
We're brought up to believe that we can save our children. Mummy will kiss it better. We're meant to fix everything, and even when they're adults, you can't do that. Blair was the son. He made a conscious choice to be happy every single day of his life.
Different things happen to different people. Just look at what happened to me when I was an incredibly differently abled 8-year-old.
He was upset with himself because he'd been unhappy about something and he'd been a bit jealous. And he looked in the mirror and he said, "I'm Blair Milan. I'm the only Blair Milan in the world, and I'm going to be the best Blair Milan I can be." And from that moment onwards, he was extraordinary.
And there'll be sun, sun, sun all over our bodies.
On the 26th of March, Blair had what he thought was a cold or the flu, that he was having trouble shaking. You know, the thing is, we used to joke he was a bit of a sook. I mean, as it turns out, it's a shame he wasn't more of a sook. And he just didn't get better very quickly. He had taken himself to a 24-hour medical clinic and seen a doctor and asked for a blood test. He rang my PA and said, "I think I better go back to the doctor." And she said there was just something in his voice. So she turned around and went back. And it took him forever to get to the door. And he collapsed. So she rang 000. While she was waiting for the ambulance, the doctor rang him. And she took the call and said, "You've got leukemia, you've got to get to, you've got to get to hospital straight away." And that was it. I never got to speak to him because he was intubated when I got back, so I never got to say goodbye. I would have liked to say goodbye. It was happenstance because Blair was never going to be in it, and he was fantastic.
Now, a little bit later, I've organised, and I didn't tell my mum because I know she'd never approve, but you can bungee jump over the Corinthian Canal.
3, 2, 1, and go!
That is amazing!
The thing is, it is very hard to diagnose. There's no rhyme or reason as to why somebody will get it and someone else won't. It's not as if you're smoking and you'll get lung cancer. It's just, you're really unlucky. We don't know enough. So we want the money for research, we want the money for clinical trials, and we want to keep people in Australia. You were asking me before about the photos, and I always imagine Blair in the yellow T-shirt, and I still have that yellow T-shirt under my pillow. It was in his laundry basket, so I didn't wash it. And he's just leaning forward and adjusting the microphone, and the SBS logo, it looks like angel wings coming out of the back, and that's how I like to remember him.
I've had the most amazing life. I love life, and I have to thank my mother and my father especially.
I'd like to make a toast to our mother.
You know, we say that only the good die young. Well, in fact, that was from the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks believed that when you've reached perfection in this life, you can leave it. So it's what I'm trying to think about. You know, maybe his star shone very brightly, but it was only for a short time. Yeah, it's not as good as having him here.
Lindy and Blair, it's a sad story, but as was illustrated, blood cancer doesn't discriminate. So if you can donate this afternoon, over the next hour or the next week or the next month or the next year, please absolutely do so as we welcome in Nikki Long. Welcome to you, Nikki. You're in charge of the social media this afternoon.
Yes, I am, Hamish. Thank you so much. As you said earlier, there are a number of social media arms that we've got, but I'm here today to read out a couple of tweets that we've just received in and share with the audience. A tweet from the Alfred. By shaking things up with the Snowdome Foundation, you'll be supporting the talented researchers at the Alfred. And we're also been lucky enough to receive a tweet from the Lord Mayor, Robert Doyle, saying support Snowdome AU to raise funds for new treatments for Australian blood cancer patients. Shaking things up, hashtag. As you mentioned earlier, Hamish, we'd really like everyone to get on board, tweet as much as possible. In particular, if you could post photos of your boardroom, it would be really fantastic because we'd like everybody to see what's happening in your boardroom. We are crossing live to a couple of them, but we'd like to see what's happening everywhere else. And hashtag shaking things up will get us trending on Twitter later on.
Important to trend, apparently, these days. I'm not a big Twitter guy, but trending is important, tweeting is important, particularly today. Almost 100 boardrooms around the country is magnificent.
It is. It's a really great result. It's our third year, as you mentioned earlier. So much effort and so many volunteers to make it happen, and we really appreciate people's support and people sitting in the boardrooms, you know, personally affected or have a connection to Snowdome. We just couldn't do this without you, so thanks.
Now, I know you said don't make a statement as to the number, but $1 million's what we want today. Don't play it down.
We would really like to get $1 million. We have received that in the past. Some very generous donors, individual donors, but all the small bits and pieces do add up. So even if you've got a small donation to make, we'd be most grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikki. We'll catch up just a little bit later.
Thanks.
Time for our second story, and well, the Riewoldt family are a huge name in Australian football, and Fiona and Joe are with us today in the audience. They lost a daughter in February. Maddie Riewoldt was an amazing woman, and Nick Riewoldt played football under enormous duress this year. Here is a story of Maddie Riewoldt via Nick and Alex, the brothers that lost a sister.
I made Maddie a promise, and I couldn't keep that promise. I promised I would take her home. And I promise you now, Maddie, we're going to follow what you wanted us to do, and we're going to make you proud, and we're going to work as hard as we can. We're going to fight like Maddie to make a difference.
She was an active sort of girl, that's for sure. She definitely followed her brothers everywhere, and she was a bit of a tomboy as well. She was probably better than me at all sports, actually, to be honest.
She was a happy, healthy 21-year-old girl. You know, she loved having a good time with her family, with her friends. When you're battling a life-threatening illness, everything changes. She was diagnosed with something we'd never heard of before. It was scary, that's for sure. A lot of drugs, chemo, all that sort of stuff, you know, which was pretty intrusive. It put a halt on her life. You know, 4 or 5 years of the transfusions and the treatment, so she wanted it fixed.
She rallied a few times and obviously got knocked back and rallied again, so that's where that was born from, the Fight Like Maddie.
She's the longest serving patient ever in Royal Melbourne Intensive Care.
I was positive that she would come home. I think we all were, but it just blindsided us in the end, that's for sure. Yeah, it was, I don't know, the hardest day of life, really. After Maddie passed away, I think we always knew we'd do something, probably just needed a couple months to sort of steady ourselves before we took the plunge.
Maddie's match was a huge success. Round 16, St Kilda played Richmond. That was always Maddie's favourite game on the football calendar because she got to watch the Saints play, who she loved, and also our cousin Jack plays for Richmond, so she always loved that game. It was Mum's idea that we have a game in Maddie's honour, and I guess that was when it really sort of hit home as to why we were doing it, why we're doing this, and it was special, but it was really tough at the same time. Yeah, well, when we first sort of were investigating the possibility of establishing a charity or an organisation. I mean, we're just a normal family. We had no idea how to approach it, how to go about it, and Miles Prince, who's on the board of Snowdome, approached us. He was Maddie's first haematologist and diagnosed her originally 5 years ago. So he reached out and explained to us what Snowdome do and how there might be a possibility to align ourselves with Snowdome. And our causes are very linked. Our basic goal is to find a cure for bone marrow failure syndromes in adults and young adolescents. It's an area that is really under-resourced. It's to help find a cure, and to do that, the research side of things is where we start. Absolutely. We just want to make sure, obviously, that no one goes through what we went through, but most importantly, no one goes through what Maddie went through. Yeah, we've formed a really great partnership with Snowdome. Just to know that someone's out there fighting for you, I think is a really comforting thing.
The story of Maddie Revolt via Nick and Alex, and great to have Fiona and Joe, the parents of Maddie, with us today. They lost their daughter in February of this year. Let's go to Cisco. We speak to Tim Fawcett. Tim has been an enormous supporter of Shake It Up. He was a part of the first year. Tim, welcome to you. Last year we crossed to you. There was an empty boardroom, some empty cans of Coca-Cola, some sushi. Welcome back. Cleaner operation today.
Just getting a bid in on the auction here, Hamish, so just let me do that. So I'm getting outbid by Nikki Long, I think, a number of times, actually. So, yes, well, look, you did chip me on the cross to the empty boardroom seat last year, Hamish, so I thought I'd try and up the stakes here, and I've got 30 or 40 of my warmest friends at Cisco here to join us today.
Thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do it without you. Tell us, why are you involved with Shake It Up? This is the third year, and you and AFL.com basically broadcast around Australia gratis.
Yeah, well, firstly, thanks for the question. Look, obviously from what we've just seen with the story of Blair and the story of Maddie, blood cancer does not discriminate. Male, female, old or young, rich or poor, country or city. It's a scourge that we need to join together to battle and try and find a cure for, and invest in the research and development to find the treatments for. So that's a very good reason. All of us at Cisco have been touched by cancer, and blood cancer in particular, at some stage in our lives, either directly through family or friends or relatives. So that's one of the main reasons why we're involved, because the money raised goes directly to finding a cure and improving the treatments of blood cancers.
Tim, we thank you for being a huge supporter, not only by buying a boardroom, but all the support from Cisco. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks very much, Hamish.
Tim and the team at the Cisco boardroom. Just another reminder, if you can find a way to donate today, we would really appreciate it. Again, we're trying to find $1 million. Do it any way you can. It might be $5 or $10. It might be $1,000. If you can put it through the company, it might be a much bigger number than that. And last year we had some enormous donations, and we thank Corporate Australia as well as individuals for that. Again, I'll remind you, there is a business card draw. You can still register for that, info@snowdome.org.au. 2 Apple Watches to give away, so please If you can, info at Snowdome or go to Facebook. And just a reminder, this is blood cancer that we're fighting today. Here's some more horrific numbers about myeloma, lymphoma and also leukaemia. So the numbers are terrifying. We spoke about the business card draw. There's also the virtual wheel. The opportunity to win a Village Roadshow Gold Class is for 40 companies at the moment. They entered and gave us their logo. Here's the prize that one lucky company will take home.
The winners of the virtual wheel will secure a Village Gold Class experience for 18 people at the Jam Factory. Take in the luxury surrounds, reclining chairs and special event catering, all while enjoying the latest blockbuster movie.
Again, a big thanks to the Kirby family. So this is how it works. I think we can get a shot of this red button. This is all pretty virtual and pretty make-believe, but this is Heat 1. 20 companies, 4 will go through to the final. So we're hoping that your number or your name comes up here. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. I sort of feel like Greg Evans on Perfect Match. So Town Square, LJCB, Fitzroy's and Cisco, they're the 4 to go through to the final. This is Heat 2. 1, 2, 3. Righto, Heat 2, winners are Celgene, Kingwood Mellisons, Canaccord Genuity and LBA Construction Group. So they are through to the final, which is all very good news. Time to catch up with one of Australia's more amusing comedians. He too is a cancer sufferer. Let's go to Luke Ryan.
Hello, Australia's great shake-up. My name's Luke Ryan. I'm a stand-up comedian and author of the book A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Chemo, a comic memoir about me having had cancer twice. It's funnier than it sounds. So today, I'd just like to tell you a bit about my journey and the way that I've approached cancer throughout my life. So I have had cancer twice. The first at 11, the second at 22. At 33, I plan on exploding at a party of friends and loved ones, just to really drive the point home. So the first time was an osteogenic sarcoma in 1997, a fist-sized lump growing out the back of my left knee. I spent a year in and out of hospital, having 3 to 5 day long chemotherapy infusions and extensive limb salvage surgery that meant at the age of 11, I had to learn how to walk again. By the time the medical establishment had finished with me that year, I looked not only like I'd been the victim of a drive-by shooting, but that I had decided to follow the experience by getting into a fistfight with a shark. But we got through it, and in 2001, just before I finished year 12, I was taken aside and told that I was 100% cured. So you can imagine my surprise when 6 years later they discovered another sarcoma growing on the surface of my right lung. Suddenly it was time to go through it all again. Chemotherapy, radiotherapy, surgery. Although this time it turned out that they wouldn't be able to remove my tumour without also removing my arm and shoulder. So there I was at the age of 22 having to make a decision about whether I accept certainty and say goodbye to my right arm or to keep my arm and hope for the best, knowing that if my cancer did come back, there likely wouldn't be any second chances. Which did make talking to my fellow 22-year-olds a bit weird. So I'm wondering whether or not to do honours at uni next year, and I just don't know what to do. Oh yeah, I hear you. I'm wondering whether not to keep my arm. Wow, we have so much in common. As the eagle-eyed among you may have worked out, I did not have the surgery. It was too much to face up to. But against all the odds, I stand here now, 7.5 years clear. Testament, as my oncologist says, to the fact that you can never withdraw hope from those who have cancer. There's often this sense, as someone with cancer, that you're supposed to emerge out the other side, filled with a hard-fought wisdom and a new appreciation for life. But I feel as confused and shiftless as any other young adult you might point to. As far as I see it, I'm just a regular guy with a gammy knee, a bung shoulder, and a cup full of dreams. And sure, those dreams don't involve the phrase Olympics hurdles champion anymore, but, you know, we move on. And obviously cancer is something that is hard and it's irrevocable too, but I believe that it's the same with everything bad that happens in your life. It only has the value that you choose to assign to it. And I was reading something the other day which was saying that 2/3 of people who are diagnosed with cancer actually feel like they get something positive from their experience. I got a book deal, so I guess it was worth it. I also feel like I'm pretty well set for job interviews. You know, tell us about a time you overcame adversity. Well, I've had cancer. Twice. But it's okay. You don't have to give me the job. The cancer family is a broad one, and there's a big difference between blood cancers and sarcomas. But while there's a lot that separates people with different cancers from one another, there's even more that binds them together. No matter what the diagnosis, we share the same anxiety and fear, the breath-stopping feeling of teetering on the edge of the unknown. But we also share the experience of unquenchable love and support that so often comes with a cancer diagnosis. The knowledge driven home with such force that there are those near you who will do whatever it takes to keep you alive. But more than anything, we share the ever-present hope that through the ingenuity of our scientists and the generosity of the communities we live in, that us and our children might live to experience the cancer-free world that we deserve. Things are getting better and faster than we might think, and it's all thanks to the cutting-edge research and clinical trials being funded by organisations like the Snowdome Foundation. Today's great shake-up is just one more step we can take together towards that ever-brighter future, and I thank you for your support.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Luke Ryan, who joins us on stage. He comes from Comedy Central. Welcome to you, Luke.
Thank you very much, Hamish. Great to be here.
Tell me this, where were you when you were first diagnosed with cancer at 11?
Oh, where was I? That is really drawing me back. The one thing I do remember about the day that I was diagnosed when I was 11 was that I was going to my friend Nathan Subramaniam's house to play a Nintendo 64, and I was just like more excited than I had ever been in this world. And we went to Nathan's house, but on the way my dad stopped off to get an X-ray. We got the X-ray, went to Nathan's house, played Super Mario for 64 for 9 hours, and had like the best day of my life. And then Dad, on the other hand, probably had the worst because they had discovered this like giant sort of tumour growing out the back of my left knee. Yeah, so it was obviously a real turnaround for someone at that age, but you know.
You describe yourself as a normal guy with a gammy knee, which is to underplay what you've been through. How, when you were told 6 years prior to being diagnosed again that you were 100% cured, was the relief, and then how was the, I suppose, the agony of the second diagnosis?
Oh, I mean, it is hard to overstate how, like, for me, I always felt like when I was told I was cured, like I was so cured. And I think, you know, being young and being a young man, perhaps in particular, I was just invincible at that point. Like, you know, I'd had my cancer. I'd never had to think about it ever again. So when it happened again at the end of 2007, it was, yeah, a tremendously devastating moment, and perhaps even more devastating because I, like, had such a clear memory of what had happened, you know, even though it was when I was 11 and you're still that element of, like, a child's view of things and a child's memory. Like, I still knew so clearly how hard cancer was and how difficult things like chemotherapy and surgery could be. But fortunately, like, my experience when I was 22 was very different from the experience I had when I was 11. And I think in a lot of ways that's sort of true testament to what is happening with research. Like, there was 11 years between my tumours, and it's sort of like the difference in how these quite similar masses were treated, like in terms of like so much less chemotherapy and the anti-nausea medications and all these things. Like, it was just a completely different experience, and so much easier for me and my family.
What happened in the 11 years? We're trying today to raise $1 million so that we can get to where we want to be. Before we let you go, your book.
Yes.
It is called?
A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Chemo.
And nothing would have been amusing on the way to chemo, but you've made light of what was an extraordinary situation. Congratulations on all you've done, the fight. Well done and good luck.
Thank you so much, Hamish.
Luke Ryan, he's an amazing character and, well, he is a cancer sufferer that has made a great fist of it. Time for the virtual wheel winner. Red button tells all. This is the final coming up right now. So LBA are the winners. That means they have won a gold-class cinema experience. So 18 people, $1,150 is the prize. Again, thanks to the Kirby family and congratulations to LBA as we welcome in two professors who are geniuses, to be honest. We welcome in two that are sitting next to the Revolts. Please welcome Professor Miles Prince and Professor Mark Dawson. Welcome to both of you. Mark, welcome back.
Thank you.
Miles Prince, best surname I've ever heard.
Thank you, Hamish.
Important day again.
It is. It's a very important day. It's a day I think that makes us reflect on what we do, to see the stories, to see people who are engaged, who want to help, and it makes us, I suppose, recharge our batteries to go back tomorrow morning, maybe this afternoon, Mark, and keep working at the lab and treating patients.
To be honest, it's embarrassing sitting here, given what you guys do with your time and what many of us do. But, Mark, from the Maddie story, the revolts, and from Blair and from Luke, blood cancer doesn't discriminate.
Yes, you know, these... Just sitting there and watching these stories, it sort of brings back the reality of our everyday. You know, Miles and I unfortunately see these stories every day. And the grief and the sorrow that, you know, our inadequacies in terms of managing these patients is brought home to us every day, you know, and it's important to realise that we take this on board, you know. We understand how difficult it is for these families, and that really serves as an inspiration for us, you know, to try and do better.
How woefully underfunded are we at the moment in the fight against blood cancer?
Well, there's always shortages of funds, and there's so many areas that we can potentially put the money in. Really, where we see the biggest challenge is what's being called this valley of death between basic research and getting clinical trials, getting drugs to the patients. And so we know that for every idea we have, we can only perhaps fund a tenth of it. And it's expensive to run clinical trials. And that's what it's all about. It's funding people who can help develop the trials, get the trials done, and look after the patients who are on the trials, the nurses, the data managers, the clinicians, the researchers at the lab.
And how is the research going? I mean, are you buoyed by what you're doing now?
I mean, so Miles and I have worked through an extraordinary time. You know, we have seen some new drugs come on board that have really changed many of the blood cancers that we treat every day. But this isn't universal. You know, this doesn't apply to all the blood cancers. And we've heard stories today of where some of these inadequacies are. And so where these areas have stalled and where progress has largely plateaued, I mean, we really need to spend some time focusing on those. And the only way forward is to try and understand the disease better, because the reason we do so poorly at treating them is that we don't understand the disease as well as we should. And, you know, so one of the things that we want to bring up is this area of increased investment, which is called personalised medicine. One of the reasons we do so poorly in some of these cancers is that we treat everyone the same. But you and I know, Hamish, that everyone's not the same. Yeah. And, you know, like that, everyone's cancer is not the same. So we need to try and invest to understand a little bit more about everyone's cancer and try and give them an individualised best way forward that will improve their personal outcome.
Professors, you're both doing wonderful things. We thank you for your time today and good luck with the research and fighting blood cancer.
Pleasure.
Two professors, two geniuses. We're going to go to Brookfield Multiplex now and pick up with Graham Cottam, who's the MD, and we welcome you, Graham. The first time you've been involved with the event, and you're a platinum sponsor. Why are you involved?
Well, you know, thanks for involving us. And I guess bottom line is all of us have been struck or associated with some sort of cancer. None more so than us. We've got a personal friend who works with us currently having chemo. It just seems one of those insidious diseases that just seems to be ever increasing. So we know we're very happy, along with some of our friends from the building industry, to be part of this event.
It's a horrific disease, and we seemingly, sadly, all know someone who is suffering. Who have you got in the boardroom with you today?
I've got with me Wasil Rasati from Form 700. Put your hand up, Wasil. Stan Papaneas from GVP. Jared Higgins from Higgins Painting. Greg Simons from Omnifloor. And Greg Andrews from D&E, plus a number of my other regional directors. Jeff, Andrew, Frank, present. Plus Georgie's running the machine, so we all can see you.
Well, Graham, I'm embarrassed by being seen, but thank you for supporting what is a wonderful day. Big thanks to Brookfield Multiplex, and hopefully you'll be involved in years to come.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So Graham is out there building great things, and Marnie, welcome to you. You're in charge of all things auction. We're building great things today as well.
We are. Yeah, I'm really excited about the auction this year, Hamish. We've got some fantastic items. We've got things for foodies, for sports fans, for movie buffs, for people who love entertainment. We've had some wonderful support from the likes of Village Roadshow, from Chug Entertainment, Carlton Football Club, Melbourne Storm. So there's lots out there, Hamish. My current favourite is the Elton John item. 2 tickets, front row, Elton John on the 11th of December, plus dinner beforehand at Ghazi and a personal photo with the legend himself. I'm excited about that.
What sort of number do we think Elton's going to go for?
Well, I think it should go for well above 5,000 to 8,000 myself, Hamish.
Cheap.
But that might be very
ambitious. That's for the photo alone, without
That's
dinner,
just for the photo alone. I think
so
the Ghazi,
10 plus.
something like that.
Okay, I'll put in 8,000 because my mother would like to meet Elton John. I don't know what it's at. I might have just been either unders or overs, but that's my mother's Christmas present.
Okay.
She's insane, by the way.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'll have to bid on something else. But for families, Haim, a fantastic item. Movie World on the Gold Coast. Behind-the-scenes experience. Your kids will be superheroes for the day. They'll have their own escort, a photographer, go in the Batmobile. Fantastic. Flights to and from the Gold Coast as well. Accommodation, thanks to Village Roadshow, our wonderful event partner. If you're a Carlton footy fan, which I am, Hamish, behind the scenes...
Won't get better.
Behind-the-scenes experience with the Carlton Football Club. We've got some fantastic dinners, dinner at Mamacita, dinner at Moon Underwater, and a number of brilliant items. Melbourne Storm package, 12 months of Village Roadshow films premieres. Let's have a look at some of the items, shall we, Hamish?
Let's have a look.
Auction items include the ultimate superhero movie world experience. Be a superhero for the day. This family experience for 4 includes a personal escort, photographer, a seat in the Batmobile, a walk in the parade, dressed as your favourite superhero of course, includes flights, accommodation and VIP passes to SeaWorld and Wet n Wild. Priceless. Or bid for this, the MasterChef set visit and dinner for 6 in your home. Enjoy a behind-the-scenes visit to the MasterChef set to meet the judges and a 4-course dinner for 6 at a private home, cooked by 2015 Top 5 MasterChef contestant Sarah Ateri. Melbourne Storm Rugby League package, 4 clubhouse tickets to a Melbourne Storm home match at Amy Park in 2016. Includes pre- and post-game VIP experiences. Good Food Guide voucher. Enjoy dinner at Taxi Kitchen with a complimentary bottle of wine for the table, valued at $500. Or the Caulfield Racecourse Members Package. 6 lucky people will enjoy the Spring Racing Carnival at Caulfield in the Members Reserve on Blue Sapphire Stakes Day, valued at $450. Or for Cats fans, secure a 2015 Geelong Guernsey signed by the entire 2015 playing group. Priceless.
Some nice items there. Give us a feel for what's doing on the bidding.
I think there'll be some fantastic bidding on the AFL Greats item, Hamish. So that was moving well this morning. We'll just have a look at it now. You've got Nick Revolt, Jack Revolt, Brendan Goddard going to your kids' school for a footy clinic. Currently sitting on 1,050, Hamish, an anonymous bidder.
My eyes are so bad, I can't read that. I'm glad you're close to it.
I'd love to see that get up more because that's really a very unique opportunity. We've also got our MasterChef package again this year, Haim. So MasterChef visit of the set during filming and then dinner afterwards in your home cooked by a MasterChef recent contestant.
I looked at that. Elton John is at $5,000. Graham Cottam from Brookfield Multiplex had that. It's gone. I'm at 8,000.
Okay.
Insane Mother right now. Front
Fantastic.
row at the moment.
Okay. Well, we've got till 1:30, Haim, so people can keep bidding until the auction closes at 1:30. Please get your bids in there, everyone.
Righto. We'll catch up with you later, Marnie, on the auction items. Time to catch up with another sufferer, lymphoma sufferer, Tessa James. You would have seen her on the screens through Home and Away. Her father had lymphoma. Here's Tessa's story.
I'm Tessa James and I'm 24 years old. I'm an actress, and 4 or 5 years ago with this healthy, fit family and hadn't really gone through anything, and then my dad got diagnosed with cancer and that was a massive hit. And you know, we got through it, and my mum got through it, and my sister and my dad got through it. And I think it really takes the innocence out of your family and out of your life, really. Then about a year ago in LA, I found a lump kind of just above my collarbone, and I didn't really think anything of it. I showed my mum, and then she got my dad to have a bit of a look and had numerous scans and tests, and eventually had the lump taken out, and it was biopsied, and they found out that it was Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I just got out of the car and took a few layers of clothes off, and my mum got out with me, and I think we just cried on the side of the road, really. Being so young and healthy, I didn't think that it could be cancer. I was just, kind of starting my life. So it stopped, and you have to deal with things that you would never wish upon anybody. You go through things that you would never think you would go through, and you have conversations that you never thought that you would have. And there are really dark times that you don't want to have in your marriage, really. But that's life, and that's what happens. You lose all your hair everywhere, depending on what kind of drugs you are. I mean, I was extremely bloated. You don't feel sexy. You don't feel good. I knew that it was a blood cancer, and I knew that I would have to have chemotherapy for a certain amount of time, and I knew that it was kind of an immunity disease. I knew that it was treatable, and I knew that I could get better. I knew that Delta Goodrem had it. The Snowdome Foundation is. It's very important. I think awareness in general is really important. In terms of research, I mean, it's growing every single day, and I had a really good experience of my treatment compared to a lot of people that had it 10 years ago, because of how far the research and the development of medicine has come. So I think it's really important that we invest in that. There was not a moment where I thought I was going to no longer be here. I always knew that I would be okay. I was just apprehensive about the journey. I didn't think that I was going to die.
Another extraordinary story, another blood cancer sufferer, Tessa James, and her father had lymphoma as well. So another reason to, if you can, donate this afternoon. We're trying to raise $1 million, at least the third of the great shake-ups. We're here at the afl.com.au site, and a big thanks to the AFL. Time now to have a look at the business card draw again. If you can, go to info@snowdome.org.au. That's your opportunity to win one of the 2 Apple Watches. We've already had the virtual wheel one. That was the Kirby family giveaway, the Platinum class experience, or Gold class, depending on what you're thinking. Dr. Con Tam, he's at the Peter Mac Institute. Let's cross to Dr. Con. We're trying to raise another $1 million, Doctor. What would it do for you?
I think that thanks for the invitation, Hamish. So I think that the extra $1 million will be instrumental in helping us bring new therapies to our patients and help Australian patients get the best treatment in the world.
And $1 million, how far would it go?
Wow, we are talking about both funding basic research, so understand how these molecules work, funding the nurses and the researchers who do the trials, and then also funding, helping the patients getting out of hospital. It's hard to say, but I would imagine that it will go a very long way.
Thanks, Doctor. We'll let you know what the number is at about 1 o'clock, and then 1:30 the auction closes, so we'll have a final number for you. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks very much.
From Dr. Con, we got Dr. Brian Nankervis. He's in the Mike Sheehan Media Centre. He's in charge of Rock Quiz, and no Julia today, but welcome to you, Brian.
Hello, Hamish. How are you?
Very well. Take it away. You've got a full room.
I do have a full room. They need to make a bit of noise. Look at that. And Hamish, we have 3 competitors absolutely itching. But firstly, I'd like to throw one at you. This is for your mum. All right. Why doesn't Elton John eat cos lettuce? Because he's a rocket man.
Oh, perfect. Well done.
All right, Hamish, that's for you, that's for your mum and for Marnie. Look, we are shaking it up for Snowdome this afternoon. We're going to have an elimination rock quiz, and I have 3 competitors, Grant Rutherford, Matt Wilson and Craig Sharkey. I think they deserve a hand. All right, good luck. It's elimination, which means that I ask each of you a question, beginning with Grant. I move down the line. If you get it right, you stay in. If you get it wrong, you are out. O-U-T. Let's start with Grant. Fairly straightforward. True or false? Moby, Morrissey, Chrissy Hind and Meatloaf have formed a supergroup called Meat and 3 Veg.
The answer would be false.
Thank you very much. That deserves a hand. I thought we're in AFL House.
Well, yeah.
We should start with one about Meatloaf. Matt, what about you? True or false, in honour of his 1967 hit The Real Thing and the founding father of the People's Republic of China, Russell Morris has opened a Chinese restaurant called Umao Mamao Mao's.
False, mate.
Thank you, Matt. Correct. He deserves a hand too. And Craig, this one's for you. True or false? Lady Gaga and Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's have opened an Indonesian restaurant called Go-Go's Go Gaga over Gado Gado.
I'd love to go there, but I think it's false.
It's false. Last round of applause. All right, let us get serious now. Grant, this one goes to you. In which Australian city did Silverchair form?
Brisbane.
Incorrect. Grant, we say goodbye. Stay there, but just know that you're not in it anymore.
I know it has to be a short segment, so I'm just
That's right. Can we go to the audience for the answer? Newcastle. I don't want you to feel bad, Grant, but
oh, I don't.
Maybe you should. We go to Matt now. Matt, who did Jet, the Melbourne band Jet, who did Jet record with in America, honouring the great Johnny O'Keefe? Oh, look at Matt.
Drum roll.
I would say he's freaking out. Who did they record with? No, another artist has been associated with David Bowie, has a first name that begins with I that rhymes with Figgy.
Iggy Pop?
Iggy Pop is correct. Gee, Grant, you've got to feel bad I gave you no hints, but that's the way it is. Craig, this one goes to you. Which Melbourne venue has hosted Bob Dylan, Led Zeppelin, Elton John, the Rolling Stones and Rod Laver?
I didn't know he was a muso. Kooyong.
Kooyong Tennis Court is correct. All right, we've got 2 left. Matt, Midnight Oil had an instrumental called Wedding Cake Island. Where is Wedding Cake Island?
Off the coast of Sydney.
But I need specific. Off the coast of which beach in Sydney?
It's Gordon's Bay in Tamarama.
Very close, but I need the correct title.
Coogee?
Coogee is correct. Well done. Craig, in which Angel song did Doc Neeson say, "This is it, folks, over the top"?
No
3.
Secrets.
Which one?
No Secrets.
No Secrets is incorrect. I'm sorry. We've almost got a winner. Matt, if you can answer this question correctly, you will win. Who co-wrote with Kev Carmody from Little Things, Big Things Grow?
Paul Kelly.
It goes to Matt. He's the winner. Grant.
Well done.
Well done, lads.
Thank you.
Well done.
Look at this. We're all shaking hands. That's right. Congratulations, and you win nothing but the honour.
Thank you, Brian.
Hamish, it's back to you. Thank you very much. Good work.
Thanks, Brian, very much. Nothing is won because everything we earn or find today we auction off, 14 items online. Welcome back to Nikki Long, hashtag Nikki. Tell us what's been doing on social media since we first spoke.
It's actually, we're really quite active, and I've got a couple of other tweets where I know we're running out of time today, but a reminder that hashtag shaking things up, not hashtag Nikki Long. Thank you. Okay. We do have a tweet from Matt Preston. Thank you. Get involved in the online auction. Thanks, Matt, because you certainly have helped us out with MasterChef. We also have a tweet from Delta Goodrum. So proud of Tessa James in her fight against blood cancer. A couple of other mentions. Leaf Promotions, they're hosting a boardroom today, hosted by Paul Aberdeen. Thank you. You've got a group of boys there. Publishers Mojo, Rodney Hamill, Harry Corsham, Viacorp, who are actually streaming this live to you today. Thank you. Watermark, Fitzroy's, Concept Amenities, Rachel Riordan out there, and Blamey Saunders have all sent in tweets, many of them photos. It's amazing, some of the activity. We've got lots of great people waving and carrying on in the background, and looks like it's great fun. So thank you so much, but keep it going because we want to get trending.
The trending means there's lots of talk at the moment. We're going to do a countdown now, and we're hoping very soon that things are trending. What is it? Hashtag?
Hashtag shaking things up.
All you need to do is tweet once.
Yes, that's right.
That's all you need to do.
Yep, tweet once.
One
all
more
at
time,
once.
hashtag?
Hashtag shaking things up. It's on the screen right now.
Righto. On the other side of this little parody, we're going to see whether or not we're trending. Is this global or
It's
just
national.
National. Righto.
Yeah.
Boardrooms, get involved. Now, the countdown clock, we're just going to sort of ask you to do it while the countdown clock is on. That's all you got to do. Hashtag shaking things up. Do it now if you can. Please, please, please. If we're trending, it means cash, pretty much. There's a guy called Kevin McDevitt. He is out of the States. He is a blood cancer survivor. He did a little parody with Taylor Swift. It's gone viral. Let's have a look and we'll see if we're trending on the other side.
I really like the song Bad Blood because my husband had bad blood. He had a bone marrow transplant, and now my husband's got good blood.
Hey, I can't shake it off, no Taylor Swift. Surprised my last birthday was not a gift. Needed a doctor, but not Dr. DRE. Might lose my life, hematology emergency. I don't hate you, but I hate you. Upset or heartbreak you. If we find a perfect match, we'll use them to replace you. Take time and we'll match you. That blood will hear no more. No, you don't fear no more. Pain and sadness won't be quite so near no more.
Oh, it's so easy to join the registry. Swab your cheek.
Remember when we thought that all was lost? And now I'm out here flexing like a boss. Bone marrow transplant, dangerous.
Luke Ryan did a good job with his experience with cancer. So too have Kevin and Steph. I'm being told now by the man in my ear, which is sort of like God, we're not trending at the moment.
Oh, well, we need to... Hashtag shaking things up. As many people as possible, we need to get our trends up to make a difference.
Thanks for your time today and well done on everything you've done this year.
No, thank you, Hamish.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Some numbers that are terrifying about blood cancer. Here they are. Well, they're a horrific set of numbers, and Rob Tandy is the founder and co-director of Snowdome. Welcome to you, Rob.
Thanks, Hamish. Nice to be here.
Congratulations on everything you've done this year. Over the last 5 years, how many millions have been raised?
Nearly 10.
$2 million out of the foundation virtual event we've been doing the last 2 years?
Yeah, exactly. As our third year, so over 2 mil.
Okay. Now, we're in charge of the business card draw. Now, you've been pulled out of the crowd and you've been given 2 business cards.
I have.
You in charge of sort of announcing them to the
No,
world?
I'm going to give them to you.
Okay.
For you to then announce
This
them.
is in no order because it doesn't really matter because it's the same watch. Is that right?
Hopefully it is.
All right. The first, Jared Nation. He is the CEO of Matty Revolt Vision. No one more deserving than Jared. That's outstanding. And the second is... Oh, no.
Sorry. Got the wrong ones here.
I've got 3. Do I just pick out now another 2?
Yeah, go the 2.
Michael Donovan from Fitzroy's. Giselle Rue from Ascala Partners. And Jared Nation, I'll buy one personally because he's the third and the unluckiest of the 3. So we thank you, Rob, for involving us. Almost 100 boardrooms is extraordinary. I'm sure there's some people you'd like to say thank you to.
We definitely would, Hamish. It's been an amazing effort and third year this event, so it's a unique event, still the only event like this in the country. We've got some amazing ambassadors out there. There's a huge army of them that we're extremely grateful, as well as a massive event committee. There's a lot that needs to go into this event, obviously on the day. Marnie Phillips in particular is really led that group, which has done an amazing job. Obviously our supporters, but then the big one as well we want to just mention is our event partners. So obviously AFL Media for hosting us today, Cisco Village Roadshow, Viacorp and B2 Cloud. So we're extremely grateful for all the help they've put in, many of them over the 3 years that we've actually had. So it's been a great result and we're extremely grateful.
Big thanks to yourself as a founder and all of your co-directors. How many directors are there at the Snowdome Foundation?
There's now 8 on the board.
You've done a remarkable job. Congratulations. The auction, it continues on until 1:30, so there's the opportunity to bid. Do you think I'll be outbid with Elton John at 8?
I definitely hope not.
You sort of hope I do, don't you? Because that means 9.
Oh, yes.
Mum will be disappointed, but it's a huge amount of thank yous that are coming up on the bottom of our screen now, Lou Johns and Mandy and co. Again, are we going next year or is it too hard to tell?
I think maybe too early to make the call. So we'll definitely think about in the off-season. We'll talk about all our event partners and we'll see where we're at for next year, but we'll let you know.
Thanks again for having me involved. It's been a great privilege and a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Hamish, for everything you've done as well to be involved.
Absolute pleasure. Auction, it closes at 1:30, so please, if you've got the opportunity, go and bid. There's still half an hour to do so. To almost 100 boardrooms around Australia, we thank you for getting involved in this, the great shake-up. And to those that have contributed auction items, we thank you. And for those that have bid, thank you as well. $1 million is the target. If we get there, it'll be wonderful. Hopefully, we go again next year. But from Hamish McLaughlin and all the team at the Snowdome Foundation, thanks for joining us today.